Wow. And it is hard when we hear that word. So, and any of you can answer this. So, what was it like for you watching someone that you love go through this? Once it's one thing to hear the diagnosis. It's another thing to watch them as they start to go through it, as them going through chemo or radiation, whatever they a treatment they're receiving at that time. But to watch them go through the different treatments and to see them coming out of those treatments and they're sick and just tired. And what is that like? What was that like for you guys watching your mother and your grandmother go through their treatments? What was that like for you?
For me, for me, it was like I feel like it hurt more. I know y'all went through y'all pain, but the thing is, I couldn't be there. So every time I come back home, I had a different grandma. It's like, it's you remember leaving, going back to base, and grandma's like just glowing, happy go lucky, and she's the grandma we know. But it's like every time I came back home, she just gradually got worse and worse and began losing her hair, and then she regressed. And now, okay, we think, yeah, she all good, and I'm thankful and happy for her. And next thing you know, just everything just goes top side up, and it's like, yeah, it's like stabbing me through the heart. That's how that was. Just having to watch it, like not being able to be there for grandma. That did something to my whole psyche because I I just I love my grandma. So yeah, that did.
With my mom, watching her go through radiation, I feel like at the age of 13, you know what's going on, but you don't really have a full understanding of it until you're much older. So I was just like, well, yeah, my mom's going to her appointments. Like, they said she's stage 2, everything, everything will get resolved and everything will be okay. And I didn't start becoming like worried and stuff until she started going through radiation, because the radiation was every time she would go 5 days a week for, I think it was like 6 weeks that she had to go. I remember after that second week, beginning of the third week, she was crying in the morning. She was not necessarily yelling, but she was raising her voice, and she was like, I don't want to go anymore. I don't want to go. I'm done with this. And it was hard seeing her like just feel alone when she did have a huge support group. I feel like we don't know what they're going through internally, and so it was rough seeing my mom struggle during the radiation and not wanting to go to her appointments because it just hurt her, and she was just in so much pain. And sorry, I thought I wasn't gonna cry anymore about it, but she she became different. She wasn't the happy, joyful soul that I used to see every day, and definitely affected her afterwards. But she's good now. But yeah, yeah.
It's okay. It's okay.
So like seeing grandma go through that was like, again, at first I was extremely optimistic because I was like, yeah, grandma's fighting it. She's gonna get over it. She's gonna get over it. And then time passes by, and it's like it's only getting worse. Grandma's getting in and out the hospital, and you just see like moments where just grandma's just sad, like, which is like, I think like the moment where it really started to hit me, like, oh, this is like serious, was when she started like, and I don't know if it's okay to talk about this, but it's like when she started using the bathroom on herself and stuff, and she didn't want me to see it. So she didn't want me to even go around that area. So I was pretty much coming home from band practice and seeing grandma just, she just seems ashamed, and it's like it's nothing she could control. But even still, it's like, it's just seeing that, it was hard to see. Like you want, yeah. you don't want no one to really go through that. It's like,
Yeah.
especially someone you care about, and it's just at a certain point it started to feel like unfair. To be honest, like, why is this happening to grandma? Like, and it starts to make you think there's so many evil people in the world, but why? And I know it's not good to question God, but that stuff like that, it made me question sometimes, like, why?
Okay. So I think even in that moment, um, with you talking about grandma and the state of her body at that time, and her starting to experience all of those different body functions and things that started to happen as the cancer spread throughout her body and her organs started to shut down. But I would say that even in that moment, grandma showed strength. And I say that because even in the moment when her organs are shutting down and she don't have the control that she used to have, she was thinking about everybody else first. She was putting everybody else first. She didn't want you to see her going through that. She didn't want you to feel sad or to be down. And I remember her always wanting, she tried to make it seem as if she was okay. She may say, "Yeah, I don't feel good," or "Yeah, I'm not my best today," but she would still try to put on this air as if, okay, it wasn't as bad as it really was. She gave the illusion that it wasn't that bad. And for me, I didn't know how bad it was for her until that final moment. I didn't know how bad it was until that final moment when the last time mom went into the hospital. And I don't know if you guys remember this. She was in the hospital and she got them to release her and she came home. But she came home too early because she was weak, her limbs were weak, and that's when she couldn't get up and go like she wanted to. She couldn't move and couldn't get from her room to the kitchen, or her room to the other rooms quickly. She couldn't move that well because everything was starting to shut down. But she got them to send her home, and that night she had an episode where she just couldn't make it. She couldn't move. And I'm sorry. For me, it was seeing my mom, who it was tough for me because, and I say it was tough, but I was angry. And I don't know if this makes sense. I'm angry because we moved mom to Arkansas to live. We moved her from Georgia to Arkansas so that she can enjoy life, so that she can go places and do things and see other parts of the world. We had all these big plans for my mom, and then you get here and now we got to deal with cancer. I've went my entire life and I've watched her suffer and go through and be sick and deal with all these ailments. And now when we finally get her here and we finally starting to see her doing well, she's went through dialysis and got her weight down, and she's looking good and heck, moving better and all this. We finally get her to this place to where, heck, she look like she's doing good. And now we got to tackle cancer. Now we got another fight on our hands, and this is a big one, and we don't know the outcome. So I'm sitting watching her go through all of this, and I'm angry because I'm like, well, God dang, you're here to live. You're here to enjoy life. So I'm angry. So I couldn't, I didn't know how to be, I didn't know how to be sympathetic in that moment when her body was going through all of these different changes. I didn't know how to be sympathetic. I didn't know how to comfort her in these moments. I didn't know what to say. It's like I could go to a place and I'd be like, hey, we're gonna pray you through, but then it's like, okay, I'm angry because I'm watching her go through all of this and go down. So it was a lot. That was a lot to take. It was a lot to watch her go through. So yeah, I was angry. Period. I was angry. I was angry with her. I wasn't angry with God. I was angry with my mom. And I know that may sound strange to some people because, people are saying she couldn't control that. That wasn't her doing. But I was still angry with my mom because I'm sitting here and I'm like, you're supposed to be here. You're supposed to live. You're supposed to be enjoying life. You're supposed to be going places, doing stuff. And I didn't get that. I didn't get that side of her. We went from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next, and then she was gone. So that was my feeling. And for a long time, that just ate at me because I felt like I wasn't understanding, that I didn't sympathize with her, that I didn't show her the love and the compassion she needed in a time where she was going through it the worst. That was probably the worst moment of her life. And I didn't feel like I was in a place to help her. I felt like I was angry and I was hard on her because I'm like, get up. You can beat this. Fight. Don't fight. Don't complain about it. Fight. I've heard you complain your whole life. It's time to fight. And I think for me, I just shut down. I just shut down. I think when cancer hit her, I just shut down. So I believe that I would say I'm still healing from it. But that was my moment. So
thank you for joining us on another episode of I Have a Testimony. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Catch us next week as we continue to dive into I Have a Testimony. See you soon.